Download Summoner's War, Lost Centuria, and help support the Twitchiest community and help give everybody a big old giveaway. If we get to 250 downloads and tutorial completions, we're starting a $1,000 giveaway where we're gonna give $1,000 to a Twitchy right to your PayPal. If we make it to 500 download tutorial completions, we're gonna pick 2 winners, guys. So check out the description down below or use that big old QR code and scan it on your phone to download the game now. Hello everybody, Incon here with your Soul ADC guide. So the thing with a Soul right now is you are not going to be able to build a crit, which is definitely a negative, in terms of hunters right now. The crit builds are absolutely where it is at. So we're gonna grab ourselves our Death Toll, our tier 1 Emerald Ring, and a couple of mana potions. Gonna actually make this 3 health, 2 mana, and then our Purification Bead. So Soul, if you're gonna go her, you're basically picking her because you need more magic damage on your team. And that's pretty much strictly why you're picking a magical hunter right now. Obviously the hunters are in a very good spot with the crit builds, but in general, physical damage is a lot more prominent than magical damage right now. So if you are going to pick her, it's gonna be because you have like 4 physical characters. You're like, oh no, if I pick another physical character, if I pick a hunter, we're gonna be all physical damage. We're not gonna have any magic damage. Maybe your mid laner decided to pick a hunter or something, and so it is good to have in your repertoire the ability to play magical hunters, whether that be Soul, Chronos, Oleron, etc. And Soul is the safest, basically, of those hunters because of her 3. So at level 1, we grabbed ourselves our 2. This is also the ability we're going to max out first. It is our main source of a lane clear, poke damage, the whole 9 yards, and it is a great way to build up our passive easily. At level 2, we're gonna grab our 3. This is our getaway skill, although we will be leveling it up to max last. For the most part, we're just gonna be using it for some of the bonus movement speed that it gives us, and then really being able to utilize that Aegis effect to not only stop us from taking damage, but make us less of a priority target. So the big thing about Soul, the biggest thing about Soul that you need to know is that she's not much of a god unless you have your passive up. So your passive, this is your heat. You need to make sure that this is built up at all times, that you are actually planning on doing any sort of fighting. Whether that's going for an objective, whether that's PvPing, it doesn't matter. Make sure you've got your nice whirly twirly going, indicating that your heat is all the way built up, because that's going to give you a ton of damage through magical power, as well as attack speed. So heat is your best friend. All of your abilities are basically going to build heat, as do your auto attacks, and it takes a hot second for that heat to start leaving you. It used to be a lot shorter, but they actually increased the amount of time that you retain your heat. So it's not that hard to maintain a reasonable amount of heat at all times. The number 1 ability you're going to use to get your heat is your 1. You can see right here, it's going to give you 40 to 80%. So if you're getting all the way down low in your heat, you didn't keep it built up, you can pop that 1, and it's going to start bringing up your heat a lot right off the bat. So that's what you're oftentimes going to be utilizing that 1 for. Your 2 is also another great way to maintain heat, because all you have to do is press your 2 and you'll start to maintain some heat, and then you can press your 1 and that'll maintain heat again. Of course, if you launch your 2 out on another target, that can also maintain heat. But you can see how I am separating my abilities right now.
Enemy missing
maximizing the time in between them. And my heat is almost already full by the time I actually made it back to the laning phase. And it really didn't even use that much mana. Plus I have Death Toll, which is gonna give me a ton of sustain for my mana regardless. So I really don't have to worry about my overall mana pools. So if Kuzumo actually dashes me right here, it's gonna put him in kind of an awkward spot because I want to be able to hit him really hard. I backed up, got my full lifesteal boots. Lifesteal boots are gonna be your first item here on Soul. You're not going to have a stacking item like a traditional hunter, but you're gonna get a lot of power and a little bit more lifesteal value out of those boots. So for our official level order, we're going to be getting our ultimate whenever we can. Our ultimate's going to be increasing that damage from our supernova. Keep in mind that ability works kind of like a like an AMC honey, where you paint with it. So you're going to start it at a target location, and then you're going to paint with it in the area that you would like it to go. So make sure that you are utilizing the ulti. Typically, you want to start the ult right on top of somebody and then paint it in the direction that you think they're going to walk. So I'm going to try to start up my 3. I'm going to use my ulti right on top of this Hades. I don't even actually have to paint it in any direction. I'm going to slow down this Wheelix. I know Wheelix is going to do a little pop right over my body. I'm just going to try to fight it back. If I die, I die. But I feel like I can grab the kill before I do, and it doesn't look like the Hades is going to be able to follow up on me. Soul can be quite tricky to kill, especially in the early stages of the game, before the enemy ends up getting a lot of anti-heal, which they will presumably buy for against you, because between passively your lifesteal HP regen from things like Tier 1, which gives you back the HP, and your build, which will traditionally include a Death Toll, and maybe even some other lifesteal items, there's a good chance that they're going to be coming for. I'm going to pop my 3 right here just to get a little bit of bonus movement speed. I'm going to cancel out of it with my 1, or excuse me, I'm going to cancel out of it with my right click and be able to finish that kill. So right there, I use my 3 just for the bonus movement speed so I can stay in auto attack range of the Hades. And then I canceled it with right click because I didn't actually want the Aegis format. So that way I could come back out and immediately start auto-attacking again. Now after our boots, I'm going to be getting myself a Ring of Hecate. Ring of Hecate is going to make us super annoying for the next like 6 minutes of the game or so. We're going to get even more life steal, but we're also going to get that power shift between the power shift from our passive, giving us that extra power there, heat, and the power we're going to get from Hecate. We're going to be really hard to box in the early stages of the game. Back to our leveling order, we grab our ulti for the damage, then we rank up our 2 because this is our lane clear and poke. Then we're going to level up our 1 to max, and finally our 3. You can level up the 3 before the 1, but in general, leveling up that 1 is going to be better because it gives you that full 80% heat. So that way you basically go from none all the way up to full. So anytime you use your 1 at that point, you should basically be up to full heat. And as we mentioned earlier, full heat is like the most important thing on Soul. So I'm going to pop an early little... I'm going to pop my ulti right on top of my body, which is going to knock everybody up. Now I'm going to pop my 3. I waited a little bit to pop my 3 because I wanted to wait for some of these abilities to get a little bit closer. I'm going to pop my beads right now. And you can see all of this life steal that I have, even with 3 people here. The boots life steal, the Hecate, the Death Toll, plus all of Soul's built-in stuff, gonna let me live long enough for the Nezha to get there. So I used my ulti for the CC immunity, dropped it right on top of my body. I didn't need to paint with it at all,
An enemy has been slain.
because I knew that everybody was gonna be standing on top of me, so I get to utilize it for the knockback. And then I use my 3 immediately after. It takes a couple of seconds to get us into that Aegis form. Get some bonus movement speed. While I'm there, Hades pops his ult. By that time, I've already into my 3. And then my Nezha and my Emoja have rotated over. And the situation isn't so bad anymore.
Watch this.
So for our matchups on Soul, Soul really doesn't necessarily
Not sure what it is, but the
struggle
humans love it.
against anything in particular other than gods that just have built-in anti-heal. Because she is, particularly in the early stages of the game, really
Amazing,
based
isn't
around
it?
having good sustain and being able to out-sustain her opponents. Anybody that's got built-in anti-heal that can kind of take away that that aspect of her kit can be an issue for her. And it really doesn't matter what role it comes from, whether it's the jungler ganking you with a circuit, whether it's an in-lane Sobek giving you those siphoning strikes. Any of those are going to make your life
Watch
a lot harder. So in general, you just don't necessarily want the Soul into heavy anti-healing teams. For like the actual Hunter in lane, it's really just going to be the meta game you would prefer not to go against. And her Chernobog,
It's fine.
Heim, just because those are the best hunters. And while you're not a bad ADC, you're probably not going to be able to compete with those upper echelon hunters that are constantly being picked over and over again. So where does Soul thrive? Soul thrives in 1v1 fights. Because she's got built-in CC immunity plus all the sustain, Soul loves a good 1v1. Soul's also pretty solid against objectives because of her heat giving her that bonus damage. She tends to do very well
bubble is going to
against objectives, and those objectives particularly include towers. Towers tend to get shredded by Soul, which actually makes her a pretty decent split pusher as well, especially if you decide to go even more of a split push type build, embracing something like a Polynomicon. It's not necessarily the best item on her. I'm going to try to get towards this Hades a little bit more. Going to use my 2 to slow him down. After I use my 2 to slow him down, I'm going to follow up with my ultimate right on top of him. He's going to try to get just enough room between us so he can get his dash back up over the wall. You can see his dash had just come up right there. But then I'm going to be able to kill him before I can get it off. So right there, I start off the fight by slowing him with my 2. He tries to run away. And then after I slow him with my 2, I make sure to use my ultimate. Just makes it that much easier to hit my ulti with more of it. So you almost always want to use your Stellar Burst and then your Supernova, if at all possible.
amazing, isn't
So that
it?
means for our standard combination on Soul, we are usually going to be using 2 and then 4. And then if our enemies are coming in on us, we're using our 1 and our 3 defensively. The 3, of course, for the movement speed and the Aegis effect. And the 1 for the heal of our character.
You've got it now.
Enemy missing right. Enemy spotted.
Gotta go ahead and back up, and I can get right into a Telkind's ring. And then get myself into a demonic grip. So you don't necessarily have to get all of the rings, but on Soul, the triple ring combo works really well. The Hekate, Telkind's demonic. This also leaves open that last slot for you, so you can still get a Rod of Tahuti. Rod of Tahuti, you have to keep in mind, yeah, you're the ADC, right, as Soul, but Rod of Tahuti gives you so much power, and those that ability power directly means higher auto attack damage, especially when scaling with the Telkind's ring, where you're getting even more damage based off of your magical power. So you're basically getting 2 times value out of magical power for your auto attacks. So make sure you're buying that Rod of Tahuti even on your auto attack mages. It's probably still the best item in the game for them. I just tend to get it a little bit later. You could even, instead of getting the Telkind's 3rd, go Rod of Tahuti 3rd. Then you get that demonic 4th, like where you get your executioner, and then finish up with the Telkind's instead of finishing up with the Rod of Tahuti. Either way would work.
Amazing, isn't it?
Your right
tower is under attack.
Found a little Hades near me. So we're going to be walking at him. Looks like there's going to be an Awilix here, so I'm going to throw down my ultimate right as Hades comes in on me. Should be able to turn this one around, no problem.
Lost more than a scale.
And my sustain is kind of off the charts right now. The only thing I need to be aware of that there's a Kuzenbo behind me. So I'm going to turn around and look for that Kuzenbo. Kuzenbo is presumably going to try to push me, so I'm going to use my 3 early. So that way, by the time he starts pushing me, I'm already coming out. I'm going to have to turn around on this. Use my Aegis for this feather step just to keep me alive for an extra couple of seconds.
Please.
And unfortunately, my team is just way too far away to get to me. It looks like all 5 members of their team are actually going to make it to me before anybody on our team is even around at this point. So now we can grab ourselves a sentry ward and a regular ward. To be honest, I probably should have had wards out at this point regardless. You know, I kind of got a nice lead until I got away with not necessarily needing wards because the 2v1 and the 3v1s are going so well. But eventually you don't ward, you're going to get 4-man, 5-man rotated on. So it's actually a good lesson that even when you're ahead, even especially when you're ahead, you should probably be buying those wards, particularly the sentries. Because it's not just about you, it's also about vision for your whole team, knowing where they are. Maybe the Achilles could have split pushed more over in right lane if you would have known sooner that the whole team was over in left lane. So trying to farm up
You're on fire.
for that level 20. We're going to get 20, and we're going to rank up that Death Toll. We're going to be taking it into the
What?
Death's Embrace. Death's Embrace can give us those extra heals on our autos. So between the Death's Embrace and our Hecate, it's going to be a lot of healing. And if the game were to go long enough for you to get a 6th item, you really have a couple of options. My 2 favorite options in those slots typically is going to be either a poly for the massive one-shot follow-up damage with your big power build, or a Typhon's Fang, which is going to scale up your healing that you have from the Death's Embrace and everything like crazy. Now, they could actually be over on the Fire Giant right now. We haven't seen anybody in a long time. Doesn't look like they are. I can't push up any farther than this. This is basically already
It's better to look out for
pretty greedy
ourselves.
positioning as it is, and I need to start trying to just get myself out of here.
Enemy missing.
Awilix is around, but I don't want to mess around with it too much. So I'm going to get my 3 off a little preemptively. Looks like they're going to probably try to hit me with some abilities. The second I hear this Hades coming towards me, I'm going to throw down that ulti. Got to pop my beads, keep running away. I know the Awilix try to smack me as well. So that's a lot of ultimates, a lot of abilities down for me. Looks like Cthulhu's going to be around here as well.
Can you keep
So they're putting a lot of focus into me. I pop my 3 again. I'm going to try to run away from this Cthulhu. I'm probably going to have to go a little bit aggressive, but unfortunately, the 5th ultimate will do it.
Enemy has been slain.
But they're going to be very out of position, so they use all 5 ults on me. But that's fine.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Our team should be able to clean up relatively easily. Gonna grab that demonic grip, and I'm just gonna save my money from now so I can get that Death's Embrace
Enemy has
the
been
second
slain.
that I am getting level 20. So in the late stages of the game in the team fights, Soul can actually position herself a little bit more aggressively than other characters because she is a lot safer. She has the built-in sustain, she has the immunity, she has the CC immunity. So you can be a little bit farther forward, especially if you use your 3 a little preemptively. So if I want to start off a fight even by initiating with my 2 and my ulti, I can press the 3 preemptively and then go into my 2. So if I was like doing it on the red buff, I'd press my 3 and then go in and start using abilities. Because that way I'm already like halfway through that channel by the time the enemy would be turning around and going to attack me. So it's really not all that dangerous.
this bubble is going to burst.
Keep in mind the early game, mid game pressure that you have with Soul, particularly on the enemy hunter, will fall away at about the 25-minute marker. In that ultra late game,
Jungle.
when the hunter has the ornate arrow complete, and the wind demon and the Deathbringer, they've got all their crit. Your auto attacks will not be able to compete with the crits. While your sustain is nice and your damage is nice, you have a very good sustained output.
What?
A hunter with crit
Amazing, isn't
will be
it?
liable to probably 3-shot you. So you need to be very careful about engaging in 1v1s with the hunter
Attack
in the
fire
ultra
giants.
late stages of the game. Earlier in the game, it's not bad at all because of your sustain helps you get them through. But now that crit
I'm
is so
returning to
strong,
base.
those
Trust
ultra
me.
late stages of the game, you will find it to be problematic. So I can burn through Fire Giant pretty fast. Also, cool thing about Soul, I started this up, no worries, because I can reset it with my 3. So I reset that aggro from the Fire Giant with my 3. I'm gonna use my ultimate here for a little bit of secure because we saw that the Hercules was coming in. I think the Hercules is looking for me. So I'm gonna be a little bit careful here. I pop my 3, get myself some of that bonus movement speed. Kuzenbo tries to dash right on through me. Gotta use a little beads here because I'm getting attacked by the Awilix. We gotta quickly turn around on him. Pop my Aegis right now since there's just a bunch of people on top of me. I'm just trying to sustain, stay alive. And now I can actually even use my 3 a little bit aggressively just for that bonus movement speed to walk right back out their team. Gonna try to slow down the Kuzenbo with my 2. Not quite gonna be able to get in range. Gonna take a quick little break there for the heartbeat. Sustain up a little bit.
On fire!
And see if I can't stop this Cthulhu back in the mid lane. I am gonna be able to stop his back.
Amazing, isn't it?
I'm gonna start tanking this tier 2 tower. Just gonna start hitting it with a couple of auto attacks.
Careful middle.
Team should be able to come in here, just kind of finish this one off. And I'm gonna be able to sustain like crazy off of the mid wave. Except for it looks like Scylla maybe killed the wave, that's all right. We got a full wave of like Oni creeps over in left lane. So I'm gonna quickly try to get myself over to left lane. I have not backed yet, so I do need to be a little careful here. But as long as they're afraid, even without my full build, 150 autos right there on that Phoenix. Unfortunately, the Phoenix does aggro on me. That was the one thing that I was worried about. And I take 1100 damage from the Phoenix. But we got 4K gold. Looks like we're gonna get right Phoenix. Some of our team got split up. I'm not sure why the Nejab back earlier. He was over in right lane. They could have had that right Phoenix by now. But we're gonna grab ourselves that Death's Embrace and then continue to work on our Rod of Tahuti, which will really help us in our damage, particularly against those Phoenixes in stuff as well. So we end up securing that right-hand side Phoenix. That's not bad. We still got 3 people with Fire Giant. We should be able to just get grouped up over on the left-hand side and go for that half HP Phoenix. Before I go for that Phoenix, I wouldn't mind
Off I go!
trying to just get the last couple hundred gold pieces that I need in order to get this Rod of Tahuti. So I'm gonna come out, do the Scorpion, enhance up that purple buff,
This bubble is
and then back up one more time. We gotta wait for Scylla anyway, who is just respawning.
Attack left lane!
So this should work
On my
out
way.
just fine and dandy.
Not sure what it is, but
And now we've got
humans love it.
700 magical power. That's actually without the Fire Giant buff, where we would have even more. Plus, we are capped on our attack speed at 2.5. That's all with our heat all maxed out, which of course, your heat will basically always be maxed out at the end of the game because all you have to do is pop your 1, and then you're 80% of the way there.
Amazing,
So.
isn't it?
Amazing, isn't it?
You've done it! Ready!
Not quite there with my team yet, so they could actually get picked here. I'm gonna make sure I maintain my heat all the way up. By keeping my 2 proc. Good kill right there from Scylla. Gonna pop my 1 again, and now we're gonna get a lot of damage coming our way. I don't care who I'm attacking. Anybody in front of me is a sitting duck. Now, it is my job to hit this Phoenix, over anything else. That's 150 damage right there, and I don't even think we had necessarily creeped in that range. We certainly don't have the fire type over that bonus damage, so I'm gonna be going back for the Phoenix. I'm gonna pop my 3 here so I get that little immunity frame. I'm gonna try to peel in the back and help out for our Scylla. Should be able to finish the Hercules right there off my ulti, but I actually don't think I hit it right there. He has a sick little cutback. Cthulhu trying to come in and finish Scylla, but nobody can finish Scylla. I'm gonna start tanking this Phoenix because I can actually go right through with my immunity, so I can chase through hard
Amazing, isn't it?
and grab that kill. Hades is looking like he probably wants to go for the ulti right here. Gonna go ahead and Aegis that Wheelix feather set. I know that his jump is down, so I should be able to kill her right here as well. Turn around on the Kuzumo, good route, and we should be able to put this game away. So Soul's strength comes from 2 things. 1, her general sustain, and 2, the fact that she has magical damage, not physical damage. So you don't want to pick her into really high, heavy anti-heal comps. Preferably, you don't even want a lot of healing on your own team, so that way the enemy team is not encouraged to buy anti-heal for your Hell and your Soul and your Guan Yu all at the same time. You don't want to give them the old 3-for-1 deal at Costco. And then, of course, you are magic damage, which means if you've got a lot of physical on your teams, particularly if you're like mid laner with a hunter or something, it gives you that option to provide that magical damage for your team, guys. And that is our Soul. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.